do, the very first movie was done, I wasn't even voice acting at the time. I was still doing, you know, on camera, Walker, Texas Ranger.
So my question is actually, how does it make you feel when you are becoming a major?
It makes me feel great. I was at a wine tasting with Steve Kramer, who plays the third Hokage, and Michael Sorich, who plays Gamabunta. And I don't know if Richard Epcar was there, who of course plays Bato in the major. Yeah, so I was at a wine tasting when I got the call. She's like, Mary, would you like to play the Major, the next Ghost in the Shell? And I just literally freaked out. I said, are you kidding me? Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, wait. Yes, I would. You know, so it's awesome. It's one of those characters that comes along very rarely. So, and there are very, you know, there are a number of us that have this voice, this low voices. So I was really lucky to get it. Really lucky.
From Crispin Freeman, Toga says. So
yeah.
Hopefully I will see you tomorrow, the autograph panel.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my Ghost in the Shell.
There you go.
I was going to say,
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's okay, just be aware of what's
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm good. How you doing?
Oh,
How you doing?
You're the greatest right now.
You're the greatest.
You are. I remember you when you were. You are. I remember you were Hot Ice Hilda. Outlaw Star.
Yes.
Oh my God. When you did when they used your voice to do the monologue for like one of the little intro video things.
Yeah.
I remember the one quote. You said you have to walk your own path.
You do. You gotta walk your own path.
And I've always been inspired by that.
Thank you.
One of the.
Wish I'd written it. But I believe it.
One of the questions I have to ask is, which character do you relate to the most, like, out of all the characters that you've done? Like, which one do you think reflects you the most? Or the one that you had the most fun doing?
Wow. Well, I think the Major I probably had the most fun doing just because she's amazing. In terms of my own personal life, I was always in love with the wrong guy or the, you know, the dark horse or the bad boy, slightly bad boy. So I would say Julia from Bebop. I mean, that was pretty much me, you know, willing to just die for the wrong guy, you know, pretty much.
Personally, I loved you as a major.
Thank you.
I have to say, I'm not going to be as modest. You are a voice goddess.
I was just wondering, if you could voice any character in any video game, anime, any animation, who would you choose?
Wow. I don't know if they ever did a dub for Millennium Actress. I don't think they did. And I just thought that movie blew me away, because it's all about film and filmmaking and different, like a love letter to the cinema, basically. So I would have loved to have done that, I think. Yeah, more than anything. I mean, I love Mizuyaki, and but I don't have that young voice for that. But for some reason, I just adore Millennium Actress. So I think probably that. I know there's something I'm missing. I mean, with all the, for monetary, you know, I'd love to have done SpongeBob, you know. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Good question. I'll have to think about. That's when I really need to think about that, because I love animation. You know, I mean, the crazy cat lady in The Simpsons. I love Tress MacNeille. I think I'm probably going to become that at some point in my life. So it's good to practice. You know.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, love all the work that you've done in basically everything.
Thanks.
I've enjoyed all
There's
the
gotta be one thing you didn't like. Come on.
No, I really don't see it happening anywhere down there. All the Silent Hill soundtracks, fantastic. Haven't been able to track down some, very rare.
Internet.
No,
That's how I found them. Because they never give us discs or anything, and I'm just like, oh, I loved that.
Would love some domestic releases of those, make them easier to find.
Yeah, I love like the Sacred Line song that we did. But that was actually, the lyrics for that song were supposed to be for the other songs. So it's different. And then the day we recorded, we had to change, literally flop the lyrics from one song.
But I've noticed that a lot of voice actors end up being ADR directors down the line. And I've noticed that you also said that, you know, you cast yourself in smaller roles because it's easier to direct smaller things. But what do you think about voice actors who basically cast themselves as like the main character of a show? Like Chris Sabat in Speedgrapher and Salty Ray, he was the ADR director and he was basically the main character of both of those. What do you think about like ADR directors who are basically the main characters of their animes that they direct?
If they can do that, that's fantastic. I give more power to them, and they're much easier to schedule themselves. You know, I mean, we got an extra, we got an extra half an hour. I'll just jump in the booth and we'll, you know, fill in the
We'll
holes.
hammer this out and get it done.
Yeah, get her done. But for me, I prefer to have an objective ear because I'll turn to my engineer sometime and they're like, well, the level was good. You know, I'm like, but how was it creatively? Tell me. Feed my ego.
Did it evoke the sense of that scene? You know.
Yeah, so I prefer sometimes to actually be directed. But if more power to you. If you can do that with a big role, a major role, then
All right. Well,
go get them.
that's it. Thank you for all your work. Continue doing what you do. We'll appreciate your work
Thank you.
forever.
I hope so. Thanks.
All right. You have a good one.
Thanks, you too. Hello.
Hey,
How are you?
doing all right.
Good.
I'm sorry I missed the panel yesterday, remember? So I was like, oh, I'm gonna be, they didn't let me go in. They're like, at like 10 minutes past, they're like, oh, you can't come in. It's full.
Oh.
I was like,
What?
I waited in line forever.
Oh my gosh.
But you remember
That's so
my question yesterday about, you know, which one made you have the most emotional spike out of like fear or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
Well, out of like the rest of the emotions, like, cause there's one scene, I think it was in the 3rd episode of Ghost in the Shell, where the guy had put his brain inside the tank, and then that line that you said, like, I felt just for 1 second something.
Yeah.
Like that for me made it seem Kusanagi was immediately a 3-dimensional character when that line was said.
That was really hard. That scene was like, I had to do that a couple times because I kept getting choked up. I felt the same way. It was so sad.
It actually made me cry. I was like,
Good. I mean, bad, but I'm sorry, but
what one made you laugh the hardest out of all of Ghost in the Shell?
oh gosh. I can't remember laughing hysterically out of Ghost in the Shell.
Like when you beat down Bato in that one scene, that
that
you just
was-
stared at him and you just like,
Yeah, that was
So-
great. No, I laughed more at like Mushroom Samba from Cowboy Bebop. That made me
that
the frog on the stairs. You know, but no, I don't remember laughing hysterically. I remember laughing in the booth while we recorded it, but for me it was always everybody else was funny in Ghost in the Shell, and she was much sort of kick butt. I'm going to kick your butt.
Thanks.
But that is my purpose. Thanks.